Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing today?
Good. Forgot to plug in again. A 12-game winning streak.
12-game winning streak. Jason Gregor said it was the longest this would be the longest by a Canadian-based NHL team since Montreal Canadiens in 1967-68. I remember that. They were in last place on Christmas. And then they reeled off 12 wins in a row. They lost one game, and they reeled off 8 in a row. Kind of like what Edmonton's just done. 2 big, long streaks right in a row.
Jack said that on the broadcast as well. I don't know who said it first, but yeah, he was. You were at the game tonight.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, another come from behind victory, Bruce. What's that? 5 in a row? 5 in a row?
5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Gave up the first goal in the first 3, and then they gave up the first 2 goals in games 4 and 5. So,
man, did they look ugly early on? Whew. Maybe we'll talk about that. Bruce, this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast with one as yet unspecified conundrum. Maybe it will be, will Cat Stevens get any airtime?
That's the she's conundrum. Working on
it. All right.
Hey.
What's your good thing, Bruce?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with number 29, Leon Draisaitl. That's my good thing in this game. I thought he took command of this one on a night that McDavid and his line mates really didn't have it. It didn't seem like, the odd little thing, but it wasn't really working for them. But the second line kind of took over and had a terrific night, and Leon was in the middle of everything. 1 goal, 3 assists, and a 4-2 win. And he had, that's my cat. And then we had, he led the comeback with setting up Warren Foegele with a opportunity, but a quick shot on net that created a rebound, dangerous rebound. Then he scored the 2-2 himself with his first power play goal in a very long time, like I think since December. And I'm going to have to get rid of this cat in a minute, I'm afraid. She keeps bumping the camera. That's not supposed to work. Anyway, and it was just a very smart play of he directed a shot towards the net, and the rebound came out to him, and he saw the situation, just flipped it right off of Joey Daccord, who was in net for Seattle. He was just okay for Seattle, Joey Daccord. So anyways, that tied it up. And then the thing of beauty to me was the 3-2 when they created a turnover in their own zone. And then Evander Kane fired a headman pass. Draisaitl picked up in his back skate, kicked it up to his stick, and instantly whipped I think it was a backhand pass to Foegele right at breaking at the blue line. It was very close at the blue line. And if Leon had held the puck even for a split second, it would have been offside. But he kicked it up to his stick, bang, sent Foegele in alone. Foegele buried. And that put Oilers ahead 3-2. And then finally late in the third on the power play, just a beautiful little pass. He slipped through to McDavid. It set McDavid and Hyman up 2-on-1 down low. And they finished that play. But Leon with all those plays, but also some, terrific, I thought, defensive work. I saw 3 times in the third period that he flat out stole the puck off of some Seattle guy coming hard on the back check and just lifting the guy's stick, and I'll take that. And he just seemed to have, he seemed to be, to me, to be the dominant performer in the game. And I'm wearing my new Leon that I got for Christmas under the tree, so I thought it was even the right kit for tonight's game, the 3rd jersey. And
4 points for Leon.
4 points, yeah.
I'm gonna have to sleep in that, Bruce.
That's not gonna happen. But anyway,
sound a little hoarse, Bruce.
A little hoarse, yeah. I was booing a little bit, that slashing penalty on McDavid right after he got sort of hog-tied from center ice all the way in for, one of the best holding penalties I've ever seen. Like, that guy did a good job, but the cheap penalty they called, oh, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, and fans were going, refuse suck, that stuff, which I don't participate in any of that kind of thing, But
Sorry.
I waited for everything to quiet down, and then I said, ref, you owe us one.
Joey Daccord, and he gave us one. I'm going to get to that. Joey Daccord was actually pretty good. Those goals that they scored, the Oilers scored, like, not many netminders are going to have those. Those were just incredible shots. Fogel's shots, 2 shots there were brilliant shot. Like, what has gotten into Fogel other than having the best post-game hair in NHL history? That guy can fire the puck right now, and he's going to get himself a nice contract, Bruce. Especially if the Oilers go on a cup run.
Yeah.
And then he plays well, like this well in the playoffs, which is entirely possible. He's playing with real confidence with the puck. I agree with you with Leon. He was spectacular tonight. And it was he's a funny guy, because sometimes the legs are going and sometimes they're not. And tonight, were they ever? He just looked like he was like he
determined.
Yeah, he looked like he had, I don't know, had one of the do they still have that Jolt Cola? Like 13 of those or 14 of those before the game. He was flying out there, Bruce. And so was Evander Kane. This was Evander Kane's best game on that line, bumped up to that line. He lobbied hard. He went to Washington. He talked to all of the congressmen. He lobbied them all hard behind the scenes and made a great speech. And he got on the second line. And heck, he earned it tonight. Like, he really was making some plays. He made a nice play, winning the puck in the corner, passing it to Draisaitl on that crucial first goal.
Mm-hmm.
And Ekholm made a fantastic play actually on this. I think it's the second goal, the breakout goal.
Yeah,
where he just hesitated a moment in the corner for the lane to clear, and then he whipped the pass up to Kane, who relayed it to Draisaitl at center ice. So, yeah, quite a performance from that line. All 3 of those players were really good, and Leon Draisaitl was fantastic. Kurt gave him a 9 out of 10. Kurt Levens, our colleague, and said it might have been his best game of the year. Certainly on the list. Leon's had a lot of really good games, but it's on the list.
Well, how about this? 13-1 in the face-off dot in this game.
Ooh.
Leon was 13-1, 93%. Wow. So he dominated there. A couple block shots, a couple takeaways, a couple giveaways, 4 shots on net, but in the center of the action.
Glad they came back. Like, honestly, Bruce, in the first period, just looking at Seattle, they looked like a team that was ready to be beaten that night. Like, I know that the Oilers had some egregious breakdowns. Maybe they were just a little cavalier, but Seattle they just didn't look right to me, even though they had those break-in plays.
Yeah.
And, they did lose 2 of their best players on one, I think one single play. Last game when Beniers got slammed into the boards, and then Vince Dunn comes to his rescue, gets in a fight, and I bet you that's where Dunn got hurt. So how quickly things change for a teammate, like one incident, and then you're out 2 guys, and if they can't be without Vince Dunn for long, because he's the best player on that team.
They'd won 9 straight, including the game that he went to bat for his teammate. And you remember Vince Dunn going after Dylan Holloway earlier in the year when Holloway was running around. And that's one of the roles he takes on. He's a pretty multifaceted guy, Vince Dunn, and Seattle really missed him.
So that was a couple games ago then. Yeah, okay.
They lost 3 straight games since Dunn got hurt. And they'd won 9 straight that he was in the lineup, and he was piling in the points. Like, he's their top scorer, 35 points, tied for... well, I guess Bjorkstrand pulled ahead of him tonight because he got something. But anyways, they were really missing him. And their schedule was wicked, David. I mean, you'd have to think they were going to tire in the later part of the game. And Edmonton let them hang around a bit by those early breakaways. But Seattle, they played, what's this, Thursday? They played Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, all in the East Coast, and then they flew from New York to Edmonton for one game on their way home tonight, and then they go home, and I think they play Saturday. And that was the 6th game of their road trip, and they just ran out of steam. I think is fair to say, and this was a game you probably looked at the schedule before the season started and said Edmonton should win this game. Well, It took a while, but Edmonton did in fact win this game, and they deserved to win the game on balance, but they weren't perfect.
Bruce, my good thing is, well, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but not really. Connor McDavid for years, has been taking a ton of abuse in the NHL. Holds, hacks, slashes, trips. And as the years goes by, he's starting to give it out more and more. And tonight, did he ever put the hammer down on Yanni Gourde on a face-off near the end of the game? Face-off happens, Gourde bashes into him, McDavid bashes back, and then he comes right over his back with a cross-check, knocks him right to the ice.
That's what happened.
Luckily, not a penalty. But Gourde lost his freaking marbles at that point. He's running around. You could just see the steam coming from his ears. He is charging around the ice. First he tried to coax McDavid into a fight. He's jawing with him, and then he's charging around looking to hit someone. And finally the puck gets sent to the other end of the ice, and Ekholm goes back to retrieve it, and Yanni Gourde comes flying like Ivan Cornway out of hell and slams him against the boards. Now I think he jumped. Pretty much missed the hit. Mm-hmm. He did get off his feet, but he didn't get Ekholm in the head, fortunately, or get a full piece of him. But he did get enough of him that Ekholm was like hurting, and then Ekholm went right at Gourde. And
did he ever? Took him a minute, sort of go, "Where's that guy? Get him."
You got the wrong guy, Yanni Gourde. You got the Viking. The mean Swede, as Jack Michaels called him on the broadcast tonight. I think it was Jack. Yeah, you got the mean Swede there. And yeah. Anyway, I like McDavid giving out more than he takes. I think it's perfectly reasonable at this point in his career. He's been in the NHL a long time. He's taken a ton of abuse. He took it and took it and took it. Now he's not taking it anymore. Yeah, good for him. Go after these guys. Don't let them get that edge over you, which is what players like Yanni Gourde and others will do, right? Because they're agitators. Yanni Gourde he's tied with Vince Dunn for penalty minutes on his team this year with 48. So that's my good thing. I like that in McDavid's game. What's your bad thing, Bruce?
Yeah, well, the early start jumps out with the breakaways and the two fantastic snipes by the two Seattle guys. Credit where due. So the guy down the road from me was given Skinner heck. He said 2 goals on 6 shots. You got to be better. And sort of giving him the side eye. I think. Did you see those shots? I saw those shots. They were pretty good shots. They were labeled top corner, both of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm actually going to go with the shift just before the 3-3 goal that wasn't. And this was a time when the puck was in Edmonton's end, and it seemed like it was forever. And Seattle, they had, Yamamoto and other big guys out there dominating the boards. And it was like Edmonton's big line was out there, and nobody could ever take charge. All they needed to do was finish one check, and it just never happened. It was just, they just needed a proactive play. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
It was like over a minute, and just going in reverse. And this is a game, I'm going to sneak in a number here: 36 hits for Seattle and 11 for Edmonton. And this was a time they needed one hit on that play, and that would have, in the right timed hit would have changed that possession. That didn't happen, and they finally were able to get the puck out and make their long skate to the bench for the second period change, and Joey Daccord made more than an okay long pass all the way up to 21. Is it Wenberg? Yeah, Alex Wenberg. And he comes in and he beats Skinner with a less than great shot, frankly. I thought Skinner kind of flashed that one. And thankfully, it wasn't just the Oilers who messed up their change, because Seattle was changing at the bench when the pass came in. And I'm pretty sure, well, you saw it on TV, I'm pretty sure the offside challenge came from the guy
Yeah, it
making
was
the
Cutter.
change at the
Cutter
bench.
Yamamoto got nailed, and it was clear, and there
He
was
just
no
didn't
doubt
get
about
off.
it.
He just didn't get off in time. Like, he had nothing to do with it.
He crossed the blue line ahead of the play, Bruce, to get off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't coming back from his own. Like,
Oh, really?
he was, or wherever that was coming from.
Going for the gate, eh?
He crossed the line. Yamamoto skated ahead of the play. That was a terrible
Instead
one.
of diving over the
Oh
boards.
my goodness! Yeah, earlier there was lots of boards ahead of him, but they had the gate open, and I think he was enticed towards the gate, and then he realized, and then he just jumped over the boards, and he was over the line by then.
Huge break for the Oilers, and frankly, in that moment, I felt like they deserved to be scored on. They played the previous shift so poorly, and I was not a happy camper there for a little bit, but thankfully the hockey gourds remain on Edmonton's side, which they've been quite a bit lately, and that, I mean, it sounds like a clear cut and dried replay. I still hate the rule, but and the guy that's making a line change and the gate's inside the zone, that's a real tough one. Like,
that was
like, it's got nothing to do with
Here's one for you, Bruce. The Oilers had 15 grade A shots to 9 for Seattle, and the 5 alarm shots, though, were 8-2 for the Oilers. And the only 2 5-alarm shots Seattle had were the 2 breakaways. Now, they had the third breakaway where Vinny Desharnais got burnt on that one, but no shot because the guy blew his move to the backhand and put it wide.
What happened? Okay.
Yeah, he lost the handle on the puck. Tanev did, and missed the net completely. So that was good. That was a good moment, because if they had scored another goal on a breakaway, that's it.
Yeah, the gasp that went through the building when the third guy walked in alone, like the 2 seconds between the time he got the breakaway and missed the breakaway, were like, again, how is this possible? Three clear-cut breakaways in one period.
The Oilers' defense had a poor game against Toronto. They made a lot of big mistakes. They got beat on a lot of break-ins and breakaways against Toronto, and they made a lot of gaffes. And it carried over to the first period, and it just reminded me. I mean, both of these were rush goals against, and it reminded me of the start of the year where they're impatient. They're getting impatient. Ekholm moved up on the first play, right? He had moved into the play. I don't think either of them on the second goal. No, they were just beat. Nurse and Ekholm were on the ice for some reason together, and they both just got beat on the pass. But Ekholm was again caught up the ice a little bit on that second goal. If he had been back another step or two, he would have been able to thwart that before it happened. So, Draisaitl was covering Ekholm on the first goal, but nonetheless, the defenseman doesn't always have to move into the play, and I'm not thrilled with that beginning of a game, and they do have to get a handle on this, because they're not going to be able to fight back in every game. But it's pretty hard to complain about a 12-game winning streak at the same time. Bruce, my bad thing is in line with that, and it's again kind of a smaller matter. But I am a Connor Brown fan. I don't know if there's many. I'm not getting a Connor Brown uniform or anything, but I do like the way he's playing right now. I think he is really hustling like hell.
Good game.
He is great on the PK. He had a great game on the PK. In fact, the Oilers did, and he was part of it. Like he is hustling, and so when it was 3-2 towards the end of the game, I'm thinking, hey, maybe this is the moment where he will get an empty net goal, and so with a minute left, Seattle, or not sure. In the last minute, Seattle did pull its goalie, and Brown was out there, and he did get one opportunity, but it didn't go. And then with 5 seconds left, Derek Ryan stole the puck in the middle of the Oilers zone, and he hurled the puck down the ice to try to score, which was the safest, smartest play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Derek Ryan's going to make every single time. But if he had had just a little bit more presence of mind, there on his wing was Connor Brown. And if he had held the puck for a second and made the pass to Brown, Brown would have had a really, really good chance to score with 5 seconds left. And that would have been awfully sweet. So my bad thing is Derek Ryan not making that pass, even though it was a safe play not to make it. I really want to see Connor Brown start to score. I think he's getting close. He even not scoring. He's a. I know there are some people who just loathe the player. I think, and they certainly loathe the signing.
The bonus, yeah.
They loathe the signing, and they don't like the player. I actually think he's helping them win right now. He's even not scoring, not getting many points. He's helping them win because this penalty kill is a huge part. Hey, Cat Stevens, the tale of Cat Stevens.
She got
for
me
people
again.
not watching this on YouTube, and I don't think anyone actually watches us, Bruce, but they might.
Every once in a while, I get a surprise.
Turn the picture off, and they listen. It's wisely turn the picture off, and they listen. Cat Stevens is Bruce's cat, and
I just got home, and I've been away from my cat for too long, apparently.
Oh, yeah. My cat was trying to sit on my lap as I'm watching the game, and I had to tell him a number of times that I was working, and he was not that, or she was not allowed to sit there. Her comprehension of English is weak, though, even at this point. So, yeah, 2 thumbs up for Connor Brown, or at least 1 thumb up. I'll have my thumb up for Connor Brown.
Yeah, me too. He played .337 on the penalty kill tonight.
Yeah,
which is a very large amount out of 8 minutes and a few seconds, because there was one overlapping one. 8:19 and 4:06 for Edmonton, so they had like twice as much power play time. And the Oilers scored twice on 9 shots and limited Seattle to 7 shots, despite having a 50% less power play time. Edmonton made way more of it, but to me, the PK was a huge difference maker in this game. Vincent DeHarnay, he's a wonderful penalty killer.
He really is.
And the other thing I noticed today, because I sit in the upper bowl behind the net, so you get a very different view from the TV view. And I really got the sense of the high-low forwards guarding the center lane.
Mm-hmm.
And where in the olden days, they used to play the box, one guy forward on each side. But now they have a high forward and a low forward, and the objective clearly is to just cut off direct passes through the lane. And the only way the team can move the puck from one side to the other is to go back to the point and around the horn, and that gives the defense crew and the goalie time to adjust. There's not just sort of a quick pass right through the slot and a one-timer at the other end of it, and they just weren't giving those up. And I just thought the communication between the forwards was good, and the defense were strong. And like I said, Vinny DeHarnay, he just his sticks in the lane all the time, strong in the corners, take guys out, mess up the cycle, and ice the puck himself. I don't know how many times, but it was a few.
So the Oilers got 2 power play goals tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bruce, there's been a lot of talk about what's wrong with the Oilers' power play. It's still a pretty good power play, but and a lot of it is people saying Bouchard should shoot more, and I do think that's part of it. But I think what they need is more McDavid. They need him. I think he's becoming a little static, and I think he's got to move more. So that's what I would say. Get him moving with the puck, and then now maybe I'm not noticing that. Maybe the other team's denying him the puck or taking that away. But I think if they're packing in the middle, and they are taking away the cross seam pass, that have him move around the edge, lots of room out there, and then when he senses the time is right, he can dive into the middle of that and take a shot, for instance. Because I don't remember the last time we've seen him do that, where he moves into the slot himself and just fires. And I think if he starts taking that puck, skating with it on the power play, and with an eye to shoot it rather than pass it, that would be my remedy. Make sense?
Yeah, I don't get the sense that he's his first choice is to shoot.
No, not
And
this year.
he's
No.
really been deferring. He had a 2-on-1 with Draisaitl, and he was like almost eyeball to eyeball, and he still tried to feather a pass through. And a couple times I was thinking, geez, he had 64 goals last year, and this year he's scoring at half. I think he got 16 through half the season, 41 games. So he's literally scoring at half the rate that he did last year, goal scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And whether there's some reason for that, shooting is not as strong as it was last year, but he's also making other choices.
I don't think he is ripping it quite as does he seem to be ripping it quite as hard as he was last year? I don't think so, but I don't know. Maybe he's still a bit hurt, and shooting the puck maybe is a bit of a chore. I don't know. Doesn't look that way though, because he looks physically like a Superman out there, honestly. So, yeah. So that's what I think. Just get the puck, McDavid, and do it all. There's my prescription. Do everything, Connor McDavid. What's your number, Bruce?
It can only be 12.
12. It can only be 12.
12 wins in a row.
Sweet.
Hopefully this clock has not struck midnight on the winning streak. But as mentioned, it matches the Montreal Canadiens. I'm just trying to find it where Gregor had it.
17 games. Yeah. Jack Michael said.
Yeah, the NHL record is 17 games, Pittsburgh Penguins, a number of years back. But the 92-93, I think that was.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you're right. It was the Canadian record is
the
less
Canadian
than that.
record is less than that. And
yeah.
So, but for the Oilers, it sets a new franchise record. For all the talk was they never got to 10 before. A little known factoid that I remembered, and probably not many other people did, was that the WHA Oilers of 1973-74 under Brian Shaw won 11 straight games. Early in the season, they won the first 2 games, lost one, and then they won 11 in a row. They went to 13-1. Bill Hunter famously said, "We may never lose a game."
And they didn't make the playoffs.
And they missed the playoffs. They wound up 38-37-3, and just on the outside looking in of the playoffs that year. But they went on this ridiculous heater. This was still in the Edmonton Garden, right? Second year of the Oilers, and they went to the Coliseum the next year. So literally 50 years ago, 1973-74, they set the franchise record that they broke tonight. 12 wins. First Oiler team ever to do that in the history of the franchise. So I love to get those WHA records in there, because to me the franchise goes all the way back to 1972. We wouldn't have Oilers in the NHL if we hadn't started the team in 72. And the Oilers, they do actually recognize that in a very subtle way. They named their mascot Hunter, and they gave him number 72. And I'm 100% sure that's why he got that specific number. Because so often they talk about 79, because that's when we got in the NHL. But anyway, that 11-game streak stood for 50 years as a franchise record, but it is gone, taken out by the 23-24 Edmonton Oilers defensive powerhouse.
Yeah, and Doug Barry and Al Hamilton are sitting there thinking, damn. No, they're probably cheering. Bruce, my number is the grade A shots for and against during this 12-game winning streak. 16.4 per game for the Oilers, 10.8 against. Nice. That's 60%. That's about a goal and a half a game difference in expected goals. At even strength, Bruce, the Oilers have had in those 12 games 153. The opposition's had 100. So they're doing. This is not, as I've been saying, this is not a mirage. This is not a fluke. Of course, at some point you're going to lose. You're going to get bad bounces and you're going to lose. But this is a utterly dominant hockey team. This is the team I envisioned going into the year. This is what I thought we were going to see all year. The Oilers being this good. I really did think that. I was thinking, this could be one of those years where, like, a magical year where, you don't have that. You have less than 20 losses all year long for the Edmonton Oilers, and not to be. But this team is really, really fantastic.
Yeah, anytime you hear 150 to 100, that's 1.5 to 1. That's 60%. If you got 60% of the dangerous chances, the other goalie's got to stand on his head night after night, or your goalie has to stink. And early in the season, Edmonton's goalies did stink, and they weren't making their shots. But now they are, and they're still not really they're not shooting lights out. Like their shooting percentage was, over the last 10 games, 11th best in the league. It was by far the lowest ranking of any of Edmonton's key stats was shooting percentage. But their save percentage is like second, just right there with Hellebuyck, And when you're getting 60% of the shots and your goalie's on fire, well, that is a recipe for big success. And we've seen, low-scoring games, but Edmonton coming out on top night after night.
They really are limiting, though, grade A shots.
Yes.
So 10.8 grade A shots per game. That translates into what, like 2.7 goals against, and I don't know what they gave up, but something like that anyway.
Tonight, what stood out to me in the third period was how methodical they were at getting pucks out of their own end, getting them into the neutral zone, chipping them deep, making their changes. Like it was just very businesslike. They had the lead, and they weren't like taking huge chances trying to expand the lead. They were, and it wasn't that they weren't trying to score, but what they were really trying to do was not give up anything. And Seattle didn't get. How many grade A chances in the third period, David?
None. Oh, wait, 3, but none
Power
5
play?
alarm.
Oh, okay.
3 grade A chances, but none 5 alarm for Seattle in the third period. 1 on the power play, 2 at even strength.
Okay.
So one of them was deflected. It was a shot by Tolvanen that deflected off McLeod and made for a difficult save.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of those. So Bruce, speaking of goaltending, Jack Campbell's save percentage has crept up to .902 in the AHL. So congratulations to Jack Campbell. When we all finally obsessing and paying attention, he's quietly put together a solid run of games and got that save percentage above 900. So that's great. I don't know what the future holds here, but him playing well certainly makes him a more tradable commodity. If there's any possibility of that, or maybe there's still hope that he'll work his way back into the NHL with the Oilers. I don't think it would be till next year, but there's still that chance. Bruce?
Yeah, they got no way to bring him up without waiving Calvin Pickard, and I wouldn't want to be doing that just now because he got snapped up in a New York minute because there's lots of teams that need goaltending, and Pickard's done nothing but stop pucks and win games. But Campbell's doing the same thing, like his last 3 games down there, 33, 36, 34 shots, and each time 2 goals against. Each time Bakersfield won 3-2, or they got an empty net goal, but he turned 3 goals of offense into a victory, even as he faced 35 or so shots in each game, and that's solid goaltending to do consistently. Is great. Good on him.
The conundrum, Bruce. The conundrum is this: how long will it take for the Edmonton Oilers to overtake the Vegas Golden Knights? Tonight, they overtook the LA Kings. Edmonton now has 51 points in 41 games. The Kings have 50 points in 42 games. The Oilers are now third place in the Pacific Division. So, again, the Oilers with 51 points in 41 games. Vegas with 57 points in 45 games. So the Oilers are 6 points behind, but they have 4 games in hand. And the Canucks are way atop the division, 64 points in 45 games. So that's still a stretch to charge ahead and capture the lead from the Canucks. It's not impossible, though. the way this team's playing, but it's not likely. It's a pretty big lead unless Vancouver starts to.
Well, maybe they'll have one of these streaks like LA or
Yeah,
Vegas
maybe.
has had. I mean,
They haven't yet.
everything's been going right for them, and they're playing really well, and their percentages are off the charts, and that'll drive a good team to greatness. But
Yeah.
Edmonton is at least back. Oilers are 13 points back with 4 games in hand. And, you win most of those 4 games and that deficit becomes a little more manageable.
Yeah. The Oilers are at the halfway mark of the season. So it's a matter of, they've got as you say, it's 13 points, but they can make that up. It's possible.
Got to beat Calgary. That's the next item on the agenda.
So how quickly do you think they overtake Vegas, Bruce?
Oh, they're 633 to 622 by percentage.
Yep.
And by percentage, they could catch them very quickly. I mean, I think it would be 1 win and 1 loss would, for the 2 teams would put Edmonton ahead by percentage. But because those games, 6 points behind, and it's a while before they really start making up games, right? They only play 4 more games, and then they have a 9-day break. And then after that, the schedule really starts to pick up. So it won't be till February at the earliest. And Vegas could yet turn around, but we'll see. They have a big game in Vegas right after the break. I think the first game back is at Vegas. And
will Eichel still be out then?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a big. Obviously, he's a fan. Jack Eichel is a fantastic.
Theodore and Eichel are both out. Their
those
number
are big.
1 goalie is Aiden Hill's been out for quite some time. So they've had some rough injury luck, and Edmonton really hasn't. So
not since the start of the year.
Yeah, no, that's true. And they had guys playing hurt, and it really showed. But they haven't had a lot of man games missed.
Yeah,
and at least not of top players like Eichel and Theodore.
You know who looked like a good player for Seattle was Riker Evans of Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Second round draft pick in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
This was his 11th or 12th NHL game. And yeah, he looks like a player. Physical and can move the puck. So he's not a big guy. Like he's 5'11", 190. But he
4 hits, 4 shots, 8 shot attempts, and he played almost 23 minutes tonight.
Yeah, he was good.
Like that's where Vince Dunn was missing, and they would have bumped a whole bunch of other guys would have got extra minutes for that. But 22-53 is near the top of the pile.
Yep. So. Indeed. Well, Bruce, let's leave it there. Talk to you Saturday night after the Calgary game. Thanks for talking tonight.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.